In today's video, we're going to talk about James Hagens, and oh boy, this is going to be controversial. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I never really was a fan of this player ever since I saw him with the NTDP 2 years ago. And I didn't watch him a lot last year, to be honest. The NTDP was pretty weak overall, so I mostly watched Equalizer Man on a shift by shift basis. But I still did watch Hagens at different international events. And let's just say I take with a big grain of salt is breaking record at the U18. Sweden and Finland put out some of the weakest teams that they have ever put out. Czechia was also quite weak and they lacked their best player in Adam Irichek. And there's also the absence of the Russians. Which brings us to this season, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. I didn't like him in any of my viewings. He was decent in a few games, but I've watched him 22 times, I think, and most of the times he would make more bad plays than he would make good ones. While he made a significant jump in the level of competition faced by playing in the NCAA, we must keep in mind that he's a true freshman, so he's 18 years old. He played all year long at 18. Unlike Macklin Celebrini, who accelerated his path last year. It's also important to point out that the NTDP always plays around 10 games against NCAA teams, so the uptick in competition wasn't too unfamiliar with him. Furthermore, there is no prospect in this draft or any other draft for that saying that are put in such a position to succeed, so he's playing alongside maybe two of the best players outside of the NHL in Gabe Perreault and Ryan Leonard. And despite that, he's only averaging a point per game, so 35 points in 35 games. His style of play as well as his time with the NTDP has led to comparison with Jack Hughes and Logan Cooley, and since there are indeed similarities in their stylistic, I believe it's relevant to use them to analyze Hagen's strength, but also where he falls short to them. He promotes a similar style of play where he likes to have the puck on his stick and control the play. He likes to showcase his skill level. So where Hagens has the upper hand on Cooley and Hughes is regarding the quality of his shot. So he has a pretty good wrist shot, there's a lot of velocity behind it, and at the same age, Hughes and Cooley didn't add such a shot.
Playing in a professional league and debuted against Vermont on November 2nd. Some picks on it with Gauthier and Smith. You leave those two. Oh my, what a shot.
His favorite shot selection in his arsenal is definitely the drag shot, where he brings the puck back onto his back foot and let himself and the puck glides before releasing. While this doesn't change his angle, sometimes it gives the goalie time to change their position and it opens up the far side.
Now an opening here for Hagens, and he scores, picks
A dangerous play, but it's James Hagens on a 2-on-1. Hagens rips one, scores!
The American forward also possess a good one-timer, something that Hughes and Cooley lacked at the time of their draft. This adds another element to his game that his opponents should be wary of, and furthermore, it gives his coaches more option on the power play. So he can both control the play from the left circle or be used as a shooting option on the right one.
Boyle. Boyle feeds it back across. Hagens, a shot. Back to Boyle. Perreault shovels it back in front. That was tipped away. Now another chance. Hagens with a...
Got more ice than puck, it appeared. Perreault gets it back up for Powell. Near side, one-timer in on Posh, and he makes... Powell, right side, feeds Hagens.
Draw one to Powell. One-timer. Score!
However, he fails to maximize what could be an advantage for him as there are flaws within this ability of his. First, far too many of his shots don't reach the target. The other team's defensemen manage to read his intention without too much difficulty, and many of his shots are deflected or blocked.
Boston College, though, got to this one here. They're moving around like they're on the power play.
Point kept in by Powell. Opposite side, Hagens fires a shot, doesn't see it. Post again. It's taken by Vogt. He'll swing it back up for Hagens. Hagens shot. Oh, that one.
This is because Hagens always take a second too long before releasing his shot.
A few hard hits here today. Both teams administering some punishment. Hagens off the left goal. Another opening here. And Hagens winds up that one. Cross ice pass. Left, nifty move. Shot goes wide. Into the rush to Stiga. Always dangerous. Hagens with a shot. Saved by Robble. Loose puck out in front.
The third period for BC sets up Hagens. Goods lost at home on Friday. First, let's watch Hagens come in. Hagens' shot got blocked by Kelly. Snapped their 18-game home win streak going back to December 1st, 2020.
Key to his success too is that shot first mentality. When you don't have a lot else going on, don't make things overcomplicated.
Moving in, a chance.
One of the main differences between these players is that Hagens is pretty far from them in terms of skating. He is first and foremost a skater that glides well. This has likely given false impressions regarding his true level of skating skills. Hagens is by no means a dynamic skater. He isn't as quick with his feet as Hughes and Cooley, and he doesn't generate much power behind his stride. There are also deficiencies in his mechanics as his heels leave the ice significantly during his recovery phase.
Chance for a breakout here. Vote.
Hagens always plays with his head up high, so he's constantly sweeping the ice with his side. This allows him to demonstrate excellent vision as he easily identifies cross-ice options.
Will vote. Boy, it didn't finish there, but you see the vision of James Hagens and why he is projected #1 pick in the end. Blocked before it could get through by McKinney. James Hagens once again finds space, sends it in front of him. On the power play this year for Ring, but he's good everywhere. Hagens in across Stiga, shot missed high. Taken away by Joyce. Here is Hagens right back in across for Stiga. He waits and shoots.
Off a leg, bounces right to Hagens, couldn't get a shot away. Slides it back across.
Hagens again across Perot, slap pass, trying to set up a lane. Has his brother James back across looking for
Ryman up to the line, but held in. Powell to the right side, cross ice pass. For Will Skahan, impressive freshman defenseman. Got it back on the give and go. And was tied up on the stick of Gucciardi, on-timer.
That being said, it is within his passing skills that we observe the most amount of mistake in Hagens' game. And we can break them down into different categories. At the top of the list, the American center has the annoying habits of playing way too fancy all the time. So he regularly attempts those spinning plays, those spinning passes that finds no one. That makes me sick. He also often tries to pass behind his back or leaves the puck between his legs when no trading options are behind him.
Pass was broken up, picked up Leonard. Here they come down the left side with Hagens.
And BC out of the zone in the form of Aram Manedian. Eagles on the attack, James Hagens.
There is also errors that can be attributed to bad spatial awareness. He has this tendency of forcing passes into the dangerous areas, so either his target is already covered and there is no chance that the puck finds him, or he makes passes to place where no one is.
Touched up ahead, Hagens across the line. Hagens trying to center it to Leonard. 13 left on the 5-on-3. Leonard dropped it down low. Centering pass deflected into the blue paint. Pouncing
And chases it down on the near wall. Rolling puck, Powell can't keep
Hurt them last night, and again, May, kind of a lazy pass through. Vogt comes down. Hagens centering feed, and the Friars are there.
Perot down low for Hagens. Tried to give it back for Perot.
And Stiga looking for an angle. Gets it back behind the net. Little give and go here with Eamon Powell starts the rush. His 100th career point. And here's James Hagens. Hagens drags it around the net. DeMattia.
UMass 4th in the conference and penalty kills. 4th line, and once again Delauche can't get clean wood on it. Now Vogt, nice pass. Hagens with the backhand.
At the top by Hagens. He'll get it back far side circle. Hagens near side for Leonard was just behind.
Some of his passes can put his teammates in bad position.
Nicely across the boards. Hagens with some speed. Gets to the top of the circle. Keeps it on the forehand. Dropped it back for Posma. A little miscommunication there.
He also has a tendency to attempt the most difficult option when it would be wiser to make a shorter pass.
Broken up, now springing the opposite way with the speed of James Hagens. Looks up, surveys.
Aside from some passes, Hagens has also other unfortunate habits in his game. He often uses this option where, upon entering in the offensive zone, he drifts along the board, slowing down the play, and then he becomes greatly ineffective, getting rid of the puck as soon as the pressure closes on him.
Hagens waits. So that's not even. That line has 4 shots on goal today. 2 for Perreault, 1 for Leonard, 1 for Hagens. Hagens across.
And this for me is the biggest difference between him, Hughes, and Cooley, is that he doesn't have the same ability to handle the pressure as those two. He's very comfortable with the puck on his stick when he has space and time to operate, but when the pressure tightens, he's more likely to give up the puck. Some sequences also gave me the impression that he wasn't ready to accept physical contact. Overall, this is something I underestimated Cooley in his draft year, is how much he wanted to make a difference and his ability to accept pressure in tough situations. And I don't see that in Hagens, the same desire and the unique mental makeup to deal with such pressure.
And it's deflected to the near side. James Hagens try to get it back for Leonard.
Played very well. Had good jump in his skates and several chances.
A puck he tucked inside the post instead off the outside of the left post.
Straight through over 6 minutes without a whistle. To the end of the first. Is there one more try on a centering? James Hagens delays with the puck. Ran right into Perreault there and gave it away.
Gasso blocked that one inadvertently as he turned around. Kept in by Hagens at the blue line, now forced back toast. 16 cents for some bread?
Starch me up.
There you go. There's almost the.
Even after some turnovers, Hagens is not seen fighting to recover the puck.
Gabe Perreault drops it off now for the skate by Hagens. Hagens lost the handle. Good defense by the Catamounts.
One thing that surprised me was how easy it was to push Hagens around on the ice. He was one of the players that I saw getting hit the most this season, and it wasn't necessarily because he didn't know how to protect himself or because he was exposing himself due to a lack of awareness. This caught me off guard a bit because I saw him doing some interview last year without his hockey gear on, and I thought he had a decent frame. He was the exact same measurement as Berkeley Catton, and when you watch the both of them, they look vastly different. So Hagens has a bigger neck, he has broader shoulders, so I thought he had a hockey build to build some mass and strength going forward. I also watched a video of him working out during the summer, and as a kinesiologist myself, I thought he was well taken care of, so the focus was mainly on gaining strength, which way too often is neglected among young players, so most of the time they will have to do some quote-unquote specific work, which at the end of the day doesn't help much with their sports. So it goes without saying that I was pretty shocked to see how easy it was to knock him off the puck.
On the hash marks, he's thrashed to the ground by James Hagens. Colton Heward does have good numbers all time against BC.
It's a good hit in. Perreault turns it towards the net. Svedback finds the rebound and Hagens with some speed through the neutral zone. Playing with a little confidence.
To play devil's advocate, I must admit that Hagens' underwhelming stats are also due to him being pretty snake-bitten this year, so he hit a lot of goal posts and he also got robbed a few goals by the netminder.
Picks on it with Gauthier and Smith. You leave those two. Oh my, what a shot.
Personally, I don't see a huge difference between Hagens' ceiling and his floor. In both cases, I see a second-line center. Now the question is, would he be an impactful second-line center on a contender, on a pretty good team, or Would he be an underwhelming second line setter that will always leave you wanting more out of him? Me, I'm leaning toward the second option. So it's pretty tricky to rank such players because if you keep him too high, then it's not authentic, and if you put him too low and you put players ahead of him that can't match his skill level, but on the other hand that can fill different roles on your lineup or that can bring some intangibles, then you may look like a total jackass if ever Hagens start to rack up some pretty big points in the NHL. I'm still unsure about where we will be on my final ranking, but let's just say that right now he's currently 7 and I don't think he's going any higher than that. So this is it for James Hagens. The next video I think is going to be on Jackson Smith. And if you can do anything to help the channels grow, I would be pretty grateful for it. Most of the time my video doesn't come up easily in the YouTube algorithm, so anything that can help, maybe like share the video, subscribe or like, I would really appreciate it.
Left side, Michael Hagens sends it high. Rebound to James Hagens, tipped
In by Vogt. Cycled around to Hagens. He gets double teamed and trying to clear the zone. Is That's going to spring the Eagles forward. Hagens back for Leonard, but a little too heavy on the pass.
The rib cage from up here.
Savage looks like he's hurting a little bit, heading over.
game, the defenseman for BC. Into the corner goes Hagens. Dangerous unit out there to center ice. Played on over to Hagens. He gets...
And then the Eagles take it away, and there's numbers back for BC. Hagens wide, gets it right back. Hagens shot kicked. And Austin May got a stick on it well.
Oh, if you got that through, Hagens was right on the doorstep.
And he's there again and shot. All right, it's 6 o'clock. The lower bowl seating of the students was gone at about 6:03. There's a good chance from Hagens.
Team.
Here's Hagens with it. Back down to Perreault. For Hagens winding in, puck at his feet. Hagens fishes it back out, finds Perreault trying to throw it back in front.
And the forwards because of some of the injuries. You see that instant chemistry. Hagens stops, throws it across, and actually high, and gets behind the net. Another center, Leonard right there. Throw it.
Ahead for James Hagens. He waits, centers across, and hit the puck. Plays it in, good pass for Hagens. Hagens shoots, save tongue for Jacob Feller. Here's Hagens, has Leonard across, Leonard scores!
10 seconds left. James Hagens, Michael, back to James, a shot.
It's a great shift by Geary.
Hagens, another opportunity. The puck entering into the zone, but he'll lose it right there as Kelly tries to clear it. A costly turnover there for Michigan State, and Hagens. And Eddie and the shot being blocked. Little Hagens firing a shot for the Eagles to answer back. Opportunity right there. Shot and save.
Corrals it. Back up to the point. Hershuk spin. Rebound spilled out. And Augustine able.
Up to Leonard. He's got Hagens in front of him. Hagens in a great glove. Eamon Powell. Drag forward. Here's Hagens. 0.4 goals against average. The drop pass over to Hagens. That one wide. Another opportunity. DiMatteo with the
Powell. Hagens, Perreault. Hagens again. Good. Here is Leonard, who cycles up high. Touch play in front. Nice look, Leonard. Perreault sets up Hagens, and he missed. Hockey League draft. The Long Island native comes in. Hagens rips one. Another heady play. Hagens right back on it. For Stiga. Champion of a conference outside of that group. Hagens. Oh, that was blocked. Leonard in with speed. Ryan Leonard got a shooting lane. Tip in front. Quarterbacking again with Eamon Powell out. Here is Perreault. Throws it across. Tip in front. They score!
Finale, he's taken down by Fortescue. Hagens up ahead for Leonard. In comes Ryan Leonard busting in. Leonard shoots. Another look at it. He's got Perreault streaking ahead. Hagens looks for him and finds him. In comes Perreault on the breakaway. Hit the goal.
Hagens set up in front.
Is a little bit in front of him before Manetian comes down.
Hagens is on it early. James Hagens leaves it. Skahan shot missed.
Back games and are on the verge of as BC. Sondrill's goal early in the second, giving Boston College this 2-0 lead, centering feed, and that was a problem Providence had last night. Too much east-west, trying to go cross ice, centering feed here, and trying to go back to the point, dangerous. And here's Hagens, 2-on-1 developing. He's got Perreault with him. To Perreault, shot, score. Gabe Perreault, job adjusting, and they had a better final 40 minutes. Eagles keep it in, shot.